got something to say, and when I say it, you better listen up. Another one. We got another great podcast for everybody who's listening. Dope artist. Had the privilege to be able to see him live, and his content, his music, man, is for real, for real. Some of the best out here, and so therefore, I'm not gonna keep on talking. Who am I talking to tonight?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on, Frank? Nicco Feem here. My bad. I actually just stepped into the car for a second just so I can make sure I focus on this. But good to talk to you, man. I appreciate the introduction.
No problem, man. You know, it's an honor to have you on the show, man. And couldn't wait to get you on here so we can talk about some things that are very important to the culture and in our community. So,
right.
But
absolutely.
first. Yeah, def. So, we were actually having a conversation earlier, man, and it was good. But tell everybody really quick, though, who you are and what you're about before we get
Okay, so first off, like you said, my name is Nicco Feem is my stage name. My regular name is Nicholas Feemster. I'm from the DMV area, born and raised in Waldorf, Maryland, Southern Maryland. Spent a lot of time in Atlanta, actually, too, but I've been doing music my entire life. Didn't really get into the game seriously until probably actually this year, man. I've been rapping forever, but, went through a lot of trials and tribulations to get to where I am now. But now it's kind of been the best time for me because I feel like I've found my voice. I know what I stand for. I know who I am. And I know the kind of impact I want to have. So that's sort of the short version, but yeah.
So first off, I'm gonna go right into it. So when we talk about like failures, one of the things that a lot of people don't like to talk about the failures. I think that when we talk about our failures, it puts you back in control because you're actually talking about it and actually just taking the reins of what you felt and you've learned some lessons.
Right.
So talk about your failures. Talk about your failures and the things you've learned from their failures.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. So one of the things. So obviously, we all fail in life. We all have shortcomings. We all aren't a lot of times what we project out into the world. But I know for me, if I were to boil it down into an experience, it'd probably be in 2016, I probably had the most failures, like back to back throughout the entire year. That's also the year that I wrote my album about Tragic Hero. So when it comes to failure, I just feel like things aren't as big as we make them out to be. And I think that when you're going through failures, a lot of times those are the things that teach you how to be who you're meant to be. It's not our, and you'll probably hear this from a lot of people, but it really is so true. It's not our successes that make us, but it's the decisions that we make when faced with adversity and dealing with a lot of problems that we sometimes don't know the answers to. And I remember in 2016, it was right when I got out of college. I was running a small consulting business. I had a long-term girlfriend. Wasn't really doing music like that, but I had stumbled across what you would think is success. And but at the end of the day, I was so unhappy. Like that was probably the most unhappy I've ever been. But because I was in Atlanta alone, I clung on to what little success I found and tried to find happiness in that. And it's like slowly over time, those things faded away because they were built on ideals that just weren't true to me. Like, I was not meant to be a marketing executive. I was not meant to be in the relationship that I was in with the girl I was with at the time. The relationship was built off of a lot of insecurity. And not only that, but I had trouble finding work, went broke a bunch of times, paying rent, thinking that I was going to get the next job, and it just never panned out. And I remember I used to ask, like, why is this happening to me? But as I was going through these failures, I wrote the album. And it's kind of funny because when it was happening, I thought those failures were the worst times of my life. And you could make the argument they were, but at the same time, I found a way to turn it into a blessing by sharing them with other people. So that's sort of kind of like my kind of short-ish version of failures and things like that. Like, I think it's important to talk about them. I think it's important to learn from them, grow from them, and to be more open about failure. Like, failing is okay. Failing is life, and you're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed in life. That's just the way it is. And I think if more people were open about it, we wouldn't feel so insecure about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that social media and everything, TV, everything, does a very good job showing you the finished product or the patched up, or the catfish version of things. But really, there's not one person that has not been through the struggle or has gone through or is going through something, and
Absolutely.
I learned that over years, and I honestly it's what you do with the failures is what I've learned, like for real. Like it's you fail, you fall, but are you gonna wallow in that, or are you gonna get up and learn and continue to move forward? That's
right.
Easy to say. It's easy to say, but I feel but.
Yeah, I was gonna say and it's a whole nother story when it's happening. Like, it's like, and I think that's a big disconnect too. Is I feel like most people know the right things. It's just hard for them to put it in context when it comes to their own life, and that's a fear that sort of drives me forward personally. Is I don't ever want to be a person that knows the right thing but can't seem to figure out how to apply it to my own life. And that's like a lifelong thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's something that I still to this day sometimes struggle with, like it's difficult, but such is life, right?
Such is life. You're right. I like what you said, man. That's good. One thing that I do, I watch you, man. I see your game. I see the things you do. You're well thought out. So one of the things that I do commend, and a lot of people, for certain reasons, decide they don't want to go to school and all, but you do have a degree, and your degree is in?
So I went to Georgia State University, so I went to school in Atlanta, and I have a bachelor's degree in management science, which is just another word for business administration, and I have another bachelor's in marketing.
Okay. So you come from the field where you're not just kind of like making up as you go. You actually have experience and the book knowledge to go behind the things you do.
Yeah, man, and I do think that this is important to say too. I hated college. I hated it. And one of the only reasons I pushed through finishing was because I kept telling myself, if I can learn business and marketing, then I'd have a better shot at becoming the kind of artist I want to be in the future. And I'll be real with you, the actual knowledge that I got in college wasn't really the determining factor. It was the relationships I made when I was there. That was the difference.
Yeah.
So, and I tell this to kids all the time because it's funny. I have a Let's Just Be Honest chapter on my Instagram. My second most popular one is about college. And I remember in that video I talk a lot about hating college and downright sometimes feeling like I regretted going. But it did serve a purpose in my life, and I am willing to admit that. I remember, like, the people that I met through college are the ones that taught me that laid the foundation for who I am today as, like, a businessman, as a marketer. And it's those experiences and those people that made the difference. So, like, if you're a kid going to college, obviously, you know, everyone goes for different reasons. But I know me personally, I would tell someone, focus on the people aspect of it in conjunction with the academics. Because the academics, do what you got to do, but that's not what's going to make you successful out here. It's going to be the people you know. Straight up. That's it. It's the people. And if you can make people work, you can make life work.
Yeah. I Totally agree with you, man. I think that relationships, like you said, the relationship part is important. I think if you can't learn how to work with people and win with people, man, you behind the eight ball.
Absolutely.
You got to learn. No matter where. Listen, whether you're doing music, business, you can't do life without people. Period.
Oh, right. Exactly. So
those relationships that you build are the things that you need. I think actually one of the most important things, your relationships. I wrote a book on relationships because I believe that the relationships, and I ain't talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships
right.
that you need to succeed, and it's called 3R, 3 relationships everyone you should have for success. And I call it those 3 R's are mentor, role model, and friendships, because along the way I find that the most successful people have mentors, they have role models, and they have friends that help them, which is going to lead me into the next conversation we're going to have right now. When you have good friends that are around you, it helps you with your mental health. When you have friends that you can unwind, you can go sit down and talk to, sometimes cry, sometimes yell, you know what I'm saying? And they have your best interests at heart. And I remember at the show we talked about just mental health and how being a black person, a black man, we often don't talk about our mental health, and that's a problem. I think that we should talk about it. And so I want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about I want you to talk about it. I want you to talk about it, and let's have a conversation about that, mental health.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. So it's kind of crazy. So I'm the kind of person who I'm very emotional, and I'm very in touch with my emotions. And that shows in my music. And I remember, just as I continued to make music, as I continued to put songs out, I realized that my music was about my mental state of mind, which really came full circle when I started the Instagram series and started getting messages from people who liked the videos. And then just some of the things they were saying to me. And I even had I actually had a girl recently. I went to an open mic and I performed Catharsis. And Catharsis is that song I did at the end where I was like rapping to my mother and stuff like that. And she literally told me that hearing my story in that rap literally helped her out in a way in which she felt like she didn't want to she had like suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And like that really impacted me, because I'm like, first of all, that's crazy that, someone would even look at me like that. But it's like, there are people out here hurt, and the more I tell people about my pain, the more I'm seeing it in others as well, and that they're not expressing it and they're not telling anyone, and they think that it's something that they should ignore or smoke away, drink away. And I hope that I can one day help people kind of deal with those mental issues in the way that hip-hop has helped me deal with mine. Especially like you said, as a black male, like, we don't talk about stuff, we don't go to therapy. We don't think that being angry all the time is normal. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that we do in our culture that stem from having problems with PTSD, having problems with drugs, alcohol abuse. They even talk about survivor's guilt, in projects and things like that, where people feel guilty that they're alive, and that's terrible. You should never feel that way, And I just think, me personally, I've chosen that that's something I want to represent, because I too went to therapy for 2 years. During that year where I was going through the worst year of my life, like, I was in therapy for 2 years, and that woman who I spoke with every Monday, like, saved my life. She literally saved my life. And I feel like people overlook therapy and talking about their issues because they're either afraid of them or they think they'll get judged. But it's like, the best way, even if you don't want to go to therapy, is to just say what's on your mind. If you're insecure, say it. If you don't feel confident, say it.
Yeah.
Have the self-awareness to say, I have a problem. And the minute you do that, things at least start to get better, you know? And I just hope that I can one day continue to push that message forward, because I know what it did for me, and I know what it can do for others if they just choose to acknowledge it, you know? Just acknowledge it. And, you know, however you choose to deal with it will come to the surface, and you'll be a better person because of it.
All right. 100% agree with that. I think that, I think that our culture needs to talk about it. Way too many people not really kind of dealing with their emotions, and this is my personal belief is that sometimes we're losing these young kids out here to like some of this violence and stuff, and it breaks my heart. Like legit, that's
Same.
That make me stop dead in my tracks to hear another young guy or young girl killed because of something stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we're not only losing one person, we're losing another person because they got to go to jail or whatever. And when they sit there and they realize, yo, like that was really dumb, and I took that too far because someone said something to me, or you know what I'm saying, like and that's again, it has affected a lot of our culture and our generation because we don't know how to deal with our emotions. In a healthy way.
Right, exactly, and like and it's crazy because when you stay silent about it, you're destined. Because you ever heard the saying where they say like hurt people?
Yeah,
it's literally that. And one of my biggest fears was always, okay, if I'm hurt or if I went through an experience and I don't have the self-awareness to realize how it affects me, I'm going to be destined to do that or project that darkness onto someone else. And one of the things that I never, ever want to do is push my pain on someone else who doesn't deserve it. You know, you see that a lot in abusive relationships. You see that a lot in, you know, people who didn't have maybe both parents growing up. Like, that affects you in a way in which it becomes a part of you. And if you don't have that self-awareness, you're going to project that pain. And it just starts a cycle, you know, and the more people you hurt, the more people they hurt, and then so on and so forth. And I think that it's a lot of the reason why the world is in the state that it's in right now is because we have a lot of hurt people out here hurting other people.
We sure do. I want to set some light. So what do you think that and you said something earlier in the conversation that we had earlier. What do you live by now, being that we want to actually really bring healing to our culture? So what do you feel like that is key for that to bring healing to our culture?
I think making it okay to talk about emotions. I think encouraging a way for you to express yourself and to say what's on your mind. And we need to stop teaching kids, especially men as well, that they can't talk about how they feel, and that crying isn't normal, and that feeling isn't normal. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like the idea of masculinity in this country too is just like so many of it point to being tough and like not showing emotion, when it's like in reality, being tough would be showing your emotion. You know what I mean? Is being vulnerable. And I say that from a place of, you know, me having been there. You know, like when I was writing my album in 2016 and when all this stuff was going on, I wasn't talking to anybody. And I remember how lonely and how hopeless that felt. And I'm telling you right now, if I wasn't rapping, I'm not sure I'm here right now. And that's serious. That's really serious. Like, I'm not sure I'm here right now. But because I had an outlet and because I was talking to someone in therapy, I got through that storm. So
I think that's key. That's good. So everybody's listening, I think y'all do me a favor and go talk to somebody and find an outlet. You gotta find an outlet. And it's okay, you know what I'm saying? It is okay for you to do that, because your health, your mental health, and your well-being really does matter. And so, with that being said, Your album. Talk about your album real quick, and then from there we'll talk about something else.
Sure. So my first album is so my album's called Tragic Hero. It debuted on May 4th of this past year. So it's been out for about like 7 or 8 months now, almost a year. And it literally is about the year in which my life completely fell apart. So it's broken into 4 parts, all illustrated by 4 Greek gods. And I chose to tell the story through Greek mythology because, you know, if you research the topic, you know, Greece is the cradle of Western civilization. You know, it's a saying that they go by. And a lot of the Greek philosophers, more importantly, like, you know, Plato, Socrates, and there's a few others, but those were the 2 main ones I ended up looking at. And I'm sorry, Aristotle. Aristotle was the main one for me. And they're the ones that came up with the idea of what happiness is and what it looks like and how we can define it. And that influence spread to our country. And because that's what happened, I was like, damn, so if the Greeks are the ones that sort of pioneered this for Western civilization, then I'm going to make my album based off that because I'm challenging what happiness is. So what I did was I broke it down into the 4 Greek gods that I felt best illustrated my character flaws. So one was Eros, which is the god of love. And you have Dionysus, which is the god of religious ecstasy and wine, which illustrated my problems with alcohol. Then you have Themis, which was the goddess of morality, which illustrated my problems seeing things in a black and white manner and not understanding that there's a gray area sometimes. And the last one was Nemesis, which is the goddess that punishes heroes for arrogance, because I felt like I was overconfident. And those 4 traits led to my downfall, which is why it's a story of tragedy, hence the name Tragic Hero.
Yo, that's crazy. So the thought behind that, first of all, I was wondering, like, what your merch, I knew looking at your merch that it was actually, there was something behind the merch. It wasn't just, you know, something you just say, I just like this right here. And so now it really makes sense with your merch, you know, everything about your merch. And I
appreciate that. Thank you.
I can see it now. I'm like, oh, that's well thought out, man. Oh my goodness. Man,
yeah, man. And it's funny because like I'm sitting there like every time I tell that story, it like you said, it intrigues people. And I think I personally could probably do a better job of expressing that online somehow. I think I touch on it sometimes, but it's definitely something because, like you say, just your reaction just now is what happens a lot of times. I'm like, damn, I got to do a better job of like saying this.
Yeah, you did a good one right there. And I'm saying that, like, the first thing I'm thinking about was like, oh, so now like I'm looking at the coin, the Bitcoin that you have,
and
I'm looking at your shirt. In my head, I'm like, oh, now that makes perfect sense. But here's the thing that I really do love this about, and is that you actually there's a purpose behind like the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like thought that out, and where you know I just like that picture right there. I'm just gonna make that my album cover or whatever. But there's a story behind it, and man, I love that personally because I feel like, you know, especially if I'm a fan, I'm a person that's going to really kind of get down with your music. I want to be sure that you really are investing into your music personally. Like, yo, like personally, this is me talking. I respect music, but I love when artists really kind of, you know, really go all in rather than throw out a bunch of content and then push it and it has no meaning. You're like, what does that really mean? I don't know. I just said it. I can't stand that. I can't stand that, man. I can't stand it. There's a lot of rappers who do it and they're successful at it. But I love it when an artist sits down like yourself and they actually put everything together. Man, that's dope, man. Real talk.
No, thanks a lot, man. And it's funny. It took me a long ass time to put that all together too. By the way, like that, yeah. I worked on that concept for about 2.5 years while I was recording the album before it all finally came full circle. But I believe that's what art is about. It's one of the only things that separates humans from like other species and other animals and things is our ability to create. And I feel like with the power of it, it should be used in a way that benefits the human race. And I just felt like that vehicle fit my life, and I wanted to tell my story in a way that was creative and impactful. And if there's one thing I can promise you in my career as I continue to do this thing, is that everything I do means something. And I purposely want people to hold me accountable for what I say and for what I do, And I just want to be a person that people can look at and say, you know what, he may not be perfect, but at least he's honest, and at least he's doing his best to make the world better than when he got here. That's all I want to do. That's it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you got another person. You got a fan right here, man. That right there means a lot, because, man, you don't really find an artist. I can't say you don't find them, but there's not a lot of artists that really speak about it and that have like, oh, this is why I do what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then on top of that, you like, you want us to hold you accountable. I'm like, all right, okay. So
no, absolutely, man. If I chose to get into this field knowing what comes with it, and I fully embrace that.
Hey, that's good, man. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what's next. But right now, enjoying the moment right now is dope, man. I really do appreciate you, man. Like, I really do. I'm not trying to end it right now, but I really do appreciate it. I do want to talk about we did the show at Jam and Java. If you guys don't know, we met at a show. I think, did you come to the open mic, or did I meet you at the show?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, okay.
All
right,
cool.
Well, you,
yeah.
I was. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead, because you did you say anything else after that? You said you were talking about the show, right?
Yeah, I said, did I meet you at the show, or did I meet you at the coffee house?
So we actually first met at was it SNRG? It was at Jam and Java, actually. It was at Jam and Java.
Their show.
I think it was SNRG's album release from this past year is where we met. And it's so crazy because I remember you kind of told me a little bit about yourself, and I was like, yeah, this guy sounds real active, And it's crazy. You're so consistent, man. Like, even when I saw you again over a year later, like, we talked about a lot of the same things. And yeah, man, you were hosting the show, and I was like, this guy's cool. And just as I learned more about you, here we are. But yeah, I believe that's when we met, though. Was at SNRG.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Release party. Yeah,
I do remember. I remember because I do remember. I remember it was their album release party. I hosted their show. That was the first time I'm hosting. First time hosting at Jam and Java, and I felt the pressure that night, man. That was a packed house night.
Yeah, man. Look, that's crazy because I had came all the way from Waldorf, and that's like an hour, man.
Yeah.
And I got to the door, right, and this was before I had already met SNRG, but I had no idea what they were doing, right?
Definitely not, no.
And I came to the show, and I was like, this shit packed out.
Yeah.
And I remember I actually bought the last ticket. Can you believe that?
Yo, really?
Man, I was like, and I was telling Bo about that. I was like, bro, I bought the last ticket to your show. I was going to be so pissed if I had to turn around and go home because there was no more room,
I know, especially coming from away from Maryland. Oh, my God.
Hell yeah, man. Look, it's a hike every day if I want to do something.
Yeah. Yeah. I already know, man. That was something else. I was like, I have pictures. actually I have a great picture like from the back from behind the DJ. Man, I was like, yo, and then it was a lot of energy that in that spot, man. But yeah, man, SNRG, man, shout out to them, man. Much love to them, man. They grind, man. They grind.
Yeah, they sure do, and they've helped me out a lot in the things I'm doing too. Like they're the ones that put together that show that I got that we just did. They helped me with my merchandise run, so they're good people, man, and they're the kind of people you want to keep around for a while. You get a chance.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Talking about shows, one of the things I got to talk about is your performance. And so we did talk about kind of thinking things out, but just touch on this. We'll end it off after this, but touch on your thought process in approaching the stage and getting in front of a crowd.
Well, so I've always been the kind of guy, if you are paying to go see someone perform on stage, you need to be giving them a show, right? You need to show them what they can't get from listening to your music, right? And the way I approached it was I knew that I wanted to give the audience a little bit of everything. So I told stories, I just rapped, I did sad music, I did happy music, angry music. Like I wanted to take them into my world, right? And I wanted to do it in a way that was going to be impactful, compelling, and something that they can go home and say, damn, what did I just see? And, yeah, man, people were paying for it, so I felt like I had to bring my A game.
You did. You brought your A game, and, as someone who's I've seen quite a few shows, especially like local artists. Yeah, you're in the top. I'd say in the top three. The top three.
Oh man, that's dang. I'm honored. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Top three, and yeah, man. I can't even say like. There's only one other person that honestly really that I could say that really kind of like, and they're a singer, man. They took the beat, they went all out. But other than that, and not even saying like trying to put everybody in ranking and stuff like that neither, because I'm not trying to like discredit anyone. But the way you came out, I remember sitting behind you. I'm like, yo, this guy, yo, like, I'm like, yo, this guy's going crazy right now. Yo, I looked out, man. So many people's phones are out when you came to the stage. Yo, go ahead.
It is crazy, man, because I had a lot of friends and family there, but just looking at the crowd and how engaged they were right away,
yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me a little bit, and I was like, damn, like this is it. And in my head, I just went into instinct mode. Like when I'm on stage, man, I'm not even thinking. I'm just reacting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the one place in life I've always felt the most powerful and the most comfortable, which is crazy. Because you know me like, and you know me in passing. Like I'm a regular guy. But I know when I get on that stage, I just feel like that's where I belong,
Yeah.
And I try to translate that, and I try to carry myself as if this is what I am and what I want to be. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But yeah, like that performance definitely opened my eyes just as much as someone who was watching me did, because it was like, damn, like I this is me,
Yeah. Yeah, no, let me tell you my favorite part about it. Okay. First of all, dope. The whole thing was dope, start to finish. But you come up, the intro comes in, and you kind of like going through the story, and you were like, I quit rap. And everyone was like, no. I was like, this guy, it was a few of them like, no, like really, really into it. And I was like, yo, was that stage? It was not stage. It was not stage.
Man.
But it was, you got everyone emotional. That was my favorite part of that joint. I think I might even have that on video, yo. No.
Yeah, no, that joint was too funny, man. No, you're right. But that is a part of the song, and it's funny because I feel like that's my best song to date is that song.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's really how I felt when I wrote it. And when my homeboy who recorded the performance, he sent me a snippet of that it's actually on my Instagram page. And when I'm performing, I didn't really hear the nose like that. When I saw the video, I was like, damn, they was really screaming.
They really were
screaming that shit, yeah.
But no.
Yeah, they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, no, that you know, that, like you said, like that really opened my eyes too to sort of the power lyrics and things can have, you know, and storytelling, and I love it, man. I love it. It truly is what I love.
Good. Well, I'm gonna tell you, man, I appreciate you. I'm a fan. Love the music.
Hey, I'm a fan of you too, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Tell everybody real quick where they can find your music, where they can find you on social media.
Oh, yeah, sure. So, once again, my name is Nicco Feem. That's NICCOFEEM. You can find me on all streaming platforms, YouTube. You can catch me on my Instagram. I have a series there called Let's Just Be Honest, where I talk about specific mental health issues related to my life, and it's a series. So I try to release them every few Fridays. I haven't put out one in a while, but I got about 12 or 13 chapters up there now you can take advantage of while they're there. Looking forward to doing a lot more things in the DMV area. I love the community. I'm always out here. If you're ever doing something and you're an artist and you want to talk, shoot me a message, man. Like, I'm all about the community. I'm all about helping others. And if there's ever anything I can do for anybody, you know, I'm there, you know. So, yeah, appreciate you, Frank, getting me on the podcast. I love the podcast. I started listening to it the other day, actually, and I really like what you're doing. So hopefully we can do more work together in the future.
We will do more work in the future. Now, one thing that I stopped doing, but I want to do it again, I always try to get you to do it with me because I'll do it, and then I need you to do it. But I have everyone say, I got something to say. So I got something to say, and I need you to do it for me. You got to say it with some umph, though, all right? You got to say it with some umph.
Okay. Hold on. Let me clear my. Hold up.
You ready?
I got something to. Wait, hold up. My bad, dude.
All right. I got something to say. Go ahead. You do it.
So my name's Nicco Feem, and I got something to say.
That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Until next time, everybody, we want to tell you, no one told you, we want to tell you we love you. God bless. Peace.
Hey, I love you back. Appreciate you, dog. Talk to you later.
Yeah. All right.